Hello, my name is Rachel McDavid, and I'm going to be performing my reading letter of Sappho's lyric poems. Dear Jacob, as you know, I'm taking an English course this semester, which has been very exciting for me, as it's been many years since I've studied literature. With you having a degree in creative writing and philosophy, you've had plenty of opportunities to read and study literature. I've read many interesting pieces so far, but the works that have struck me the most have been Sappho's lyric poems. I don't believe you've ever read Sappho's poems, but I have a feeling you would enjoy them as much as I did. Before studying Sappho's work, I had never heard of lyric poems, but now after reading Sappho's poetry, I'm interested in perhaps reading some modern lyric poetry. In Dr. Warner's lecture on Sappho's poems, she defines a lyric poem as a brief, subjective poem marked by imagination, melody, and emotion. What I find most appealing about lyric poems is their subjective nature. It is freeing to read a poem that encourages a person to reflect on their own experiences and to give the poem meaning based on what it means to them, not just on the author's experiences. Not only do I find the work Sappho did interesting, but her life and the subject she chose to focus on are also very intriguing. Sappho's life seems to be largely enigmatic, but what we do know is that she was a religious leader who was devoted to Aphrodite, the Greek goddess of love, and her work focused around love for females. Much of human history, whether it be art, literature, or politics, has been controlled and influenced by men, so it was refreshing to learn of a woman who made art about and for women. Sappho's enigmatic life is reflected in the fragments of her poems, as so much of her work has been lost. All we have of many of her poems is only a few lines. An example of this is, again and again, because those I care for best do me most harm. This is a translation of fragments of her poems done by A.S. Klein. Even though Sappho's poems were not meant to be read in their fragmented state, the poems feel even more subjective and beautiful in this form. This poem gives no context to the circumstances that created Sappho's pain, but the emotion feels so powerful, and it allows the reader to insert their own context. Sappho often writes about love and the pain love can cause, which make her poems feel timeless. The human condition is one of the few things that have remained the same between Sappho's time and our time, and the knowledge that those who lived thousands of years ago went through the same struggles and emotions that I'm going through right now makes me feel profoundly connected to other people. It's so easy to feel alone and that no one could understand what you're going through. But Sappho's poetry proves that the core of what makes people never changes, and it connects us. Another poem that connected me was, "Yet I am not one who takes joy in wounding, mine is a quiet mind." This is again very fragmented, which I feel adds to its beauty. This poem is about someone who finds no excitement in drama and who prefers an intimate, close relationship over a superficial, exciting one. I say someone rather than Sappho when describing this poem because the fragmented lyric poem feels so subjective that they could apply to so many people's life experiences, and I don't want to say that the poem is about Sappho's feelings because it feels so much more broad than that. Again, that is why I love lyric poems. The poem may have been written by one person, but it represents almost everyone. This poem particularly connects with me because I also have a quiet mind. I have always been introverted, and I have always preferred the company of few over the company of many. Your company, Jacob, is one that I miss dearly. This poem makes me feel nostalgic for our time together, as we both have quiet minds and you've always understood me. That's why I feel you would love Sappho's poems as much as I do. I hope Houston is treating you well. I miss you every day. Love, Rachel.